Number one says, is this lady gaslighting black women for dollars? This comes with a link that's going to take us to YouTube. Let me make sure you guys can see my screen. Yeah, my computer is running funny. But this is a short or reel, so we'll watch it. We'll watch it twice if need be, and then we'll discuss it.
The sisterhood seems to need a reality check, so yes, I'll be the one to give it to you. First of all, you're not desirable. Let's start there. You have horrible attitudes and you behave like animals. Not to mention, your own men don't want you, and when they do sleep with you, they leave you, and you breed destruction because your womb is cursed. You care more about aesthetic and Gucci, Louis, and Prada than you care about your children and making sure your children can read, and at the very least, making sure they're safe. This is why they're laid out in the streets. And do I have to add that your children are killing each other? Amazing. Y'all are the main ones that promote dysfunction. You support Sexy Red as she sell your children yellow discharge and gonorrhea lip glosses. Do I need to continue? And then you have the nerve to complain about black men when you're the ones that's raising them. And when they raise children by themselves, they do a hell of a better job than you do. And then you have the nerve to shame black men when you guys are doing God knows what for money behind closed doors. You're poisoning their children, and you are just dysfunctional all the way around. And the fact that you think that your aesthetic changes your mentality is amazing. And if you just see how you and your children act on social media in the real world, just all the way around, it is disgusting because you are disgusting. And do I have to mention that you guys lead in everything that is negative: STDs, abortion, obesity, single motherhood, and you think you're smarter than everybody else when you're the dumbest group in America? And y'all swear everyone wants to be like y'all, but y'all just really want to be like white women, which you will never be. The sisterhood seems to need a reality check, so yes, I'll be the one to give it to you. First of all, you're not desirable. Let's start there. You have horrible attitudes and you behave like animals. Not to mention, your own men don't want you, and when they do sleep with you, they leave you, and you breed destruction because your womb is cursed. You care more about aesthetic and Gucci, Louis, and Prada than you care about your children and making sure your children can read, and at the very least, making sure they're safe. This is why they're laid out in the streets. And do I have to add that your children are killing each other? Amazing. Y'all are the main ones that promote dysfunction. You support Sexy Red as she sell your children yellow discharge and gonorrhea lip glosses. Do I need to continue? And then you have the nerve to complain about black men when you're the ones that's raising them. And when they raise children by themselves, they do a hell of a better job than you do. And then you have the nerve to shame black men when you guys are doing God knows what for money behind closed doors. You're poisoning their children, and you are just dysfunctional all the way around. And the fact that you think that your aesthetic changes your mentality is amazing. And if you just see how you and your children act on social media in the real world, just all the way around, it is disgusting because you are disgusting. And do I have to mention that you guys lead in everything that is negative: STDs, abortion, obesity, single motherhood, and you think you're smarter than everybody else when you're the dumbest group in America? And y'all swear everyone wants to be like y'all, but y'all just really want to be like white women, which you will never be. The sisterhood seems to need a reality.
Well. Uh, I Can Fire did not post that, by the way. As I watched it, I remembered I Can Fire from last week. Shout out to him. Icon didn't post that. But Should Be Talk number one says, is this lady gaslighting black women? In the chat, our very own Black Steel said Bunny Ruckus. Black Steel, what say you to what you just saw?
I don't think she's so much gaslighting. I think she's just regurgitating every anti-black woman stereotype that exists, right? Um, I don't know who pissed in her cornflakes. I don't know what white man she's trying to get, with, or maybe she's trying to make a name for herself on social media, because that's how you make your big bucks, is talking badly about Black people, Black men and Black women. So when you gaslight somebody, it's psychological attempt to make somebody doubt their reality, right? That's what. Yeah. But so we know what she's doing is just, maybe she might be trying to get a check. She might be on that Candace Owens type of stuff. Um, Everything she said was a generalization or a stereotype. The idea that Black women's wombs are cursed is just ridiculous when white people have the declining birth rate. So whose womb is cursed? Um, the fact that Black women lead in everything negative, when white men make up the majority of the murderers, the sexual predators, the pedophile, bestiality, child pornography. How much longer can we go on here? Um, I believe it's somebody who is just regurgitating again all the negative anti-Black stuff, and it's profitable to do so. If you sit up and you talk trash about Black people, not only will white people want to listen to you, but Black people want to listen to you too, because we have internalized and we have a lot of self-hatred towards ourselves. I believe it was Franz Fanon who said that the oppressed is always made to feel the worst about himself. So whenever we look at the effects of our condition of being in a racist society, right? Instead of us pointing out the fact that we live in a racist society, and that our conditions are manufactured, it's easier to turn around and blame the victims of racism for their own condition. And that's to be understood, but I don't believe this woman is trying to do anything. Her words are not helpful, right? Her idea of giving the sisterhood a reality check is really just comes down. These bitches think they too good for somebody. Let me break them down some. This is where she comes in with all these anti-Black, hateful comments she has. So no, I think maybe gaslight is not the term, but I do believe she is just really just saying the most vile, hateful things about Black women, because she knows it'll get her views. And the thing is, with these type of situations with social media, any type of publicity is good publicity. Even when somebody hate watches your stuff, you're still getting views, you're still getting attention, and that could very well be her goal. If you could say, "Well, all these Black women have STDs," right? You're gonna get a lot of people get angry about that. You're gonna bring out the racists who say that's right. You're gonna bring the Black people who say, that's not right. But she's still getting the attention to her. The algorithm is still sending her attention. That's what a lot of these things are. A lot of these things are, as the kids say, rage bait, right? This is rage bait, what she's posting right now. She wants to get people riled up, either who support her or against her, and she can get some views and things like that. That's what partially what I think it is. Another thing, she could very well believe these things. She could very well be a diehard, you know, um, sell out, buck dancing, butter biscuit eating coon. And she could believe all these negative things about Black people. And if she does, and I mean, I'm glad she said it, that way we know to avoid her. But at the same time, I don't want her to try to pull a reach back when the shit blows up in her face. So that's just, I think it's just, she could be. But the internet has given everybody a voice. There were some people who really have internalized hatred of Black people, and the internet makes it very easy for them to spew their nonsense. But that doesn't mean that she's gaslighting. But I do believe that she is trying to get a check, and I think this is the way to go about it. Look at the Hodge twins. They got how many subscribers? Millions of subscribers. Before Fresh and Fit got taken down. Hell, Tommy Sotomayor before he got taken down. What's the one bitch? Damn, what's her name? The one who talking about Black babies need to be aborted. Black boys. I can't think of Cynthia G. Thank you. That demon, right? That demon talk about black men are dusty. From our DNA is just dusty. So we're just better off. We just don't exist, right? And it wasn't even a Black person who took her channel down. It was a white woman who took her channel down. If it had been up to the so-called sisterhood of Black people, she'd still be out here spewing her mess. So again, I think the thing about the dollars, I think that's right on point. And I think it's a sound strategy. In these tough economic times, there are going to be a lot more people saying that, but it's not going to save you. I hope Black people know it's not going to save you from these crackers. At the end of the day, they'll put you They'll hang you last, but you're still gonna get hung. So I'll leave it there. Thanks, Koku.
Well put, Black Steel. But let me ask before I go to Jack. Let me ask you, Black Steel, because in many of these types of situations, there's a viewer or listener who sees exactly what she's talking about. In their mind's eye, they see what she's talking about. And you could pick, it's not just her, you could pick any of these Candace Owens. There's people who see and therefore agree with Candace Owens. What would you say to a person who feels like what this woman is saying, man or woman, what this woman is saying is absolutely true because they see it every day? What would you say to that?
I would tell them to expand I would tell them to expand their mindset, right? Perception is reality to some people, but the thing is, the world is bigger than your perception of it. It's real easy to find negative stuff about Black people because we live in an anti-Black world. And I would say people who are viewing these things and coming to those conclusions are viewing through an anti-Black lens. Because if we're gonna keep it a buck, there's plenty of dysfunction to go around in the white community. But yet we never seem to see that, right? So if you want to talk negative about Black people, I'm gonna bring up the stats about white people. Who's leading in child abuse? Who's leading in child pornography? Who's leading in bestiality? Who's leading in homicide, robbery, theft? Think about how we conceptualize criminality. If a Black person steals $100 from a grocery store, he's a thug, he's a criminal. But a white person can steal $100 million from your 401k and he gets a promotion. It's really how we view Black people as if we are inherently bad. And if you see a Black person who's not bad, he's an exception. White people are inherently good. If you see a white person who's not good, he's an exception, right? So to somebody who holds these views, I would merely point out the reality of the facts that Black people are the ones doing all the killing and the raping and the murder and the genocide. That's not Black people. That's what I would do if I choose to engage them.
No,
A lot of times I just choose to engage them.
Now, Black Steel, some people might say, what does the white statistics or pointing out what white folks do matter when we're talking about community building and trying to thrive as a Black population wherever we are? And someone might say, listen, we're trying to crack down on the problems that we see every day in our community. What white folks do doesn't so much matter to us until it does, so to speak. We're trying to clean up our community. What would you say to that?
I don't believe this woman was trying to clean up her community, though. What she was trying to do was to shame and degrade Black women. That's what she was trying to do. And I think sometimes we have to understand that these things about we want to clean up our community has to be taken with a grain of salt, because there's a lot of good in our community. There's a lot of people who are doing great things in the community, but they never see it. They never see the people who are trying to stop the violence. They never see the people who are creating youth programs and opening schools for the kids. They never see the people who are, open up community gardens and helping out their neighbors. They never see that. They always see the negative, hateful things about Black people because they themselves hate Black people. When you talk about being conscious of being Pan-African, I think the number one thing you have to love Black people. And I think that's missing from a lot of these people who criticize us. Is everything negative? They don't love Black people. They feel, again, this woman said Black women's wombs are cursed. That's not coming from a place of love. That's not coming from a place of concern about the community. That's coming from a place, I hate y'all Black niggas. That's where that's coming from. And I'm gonna remind you why you're hated. That's what this is. But when I bring up white people, only to contrast what Black people are doing, is simply to really put some perspective on things. People think black people literally lead the world in everything bad. Everything. And when you point out the fact that no, we don't, then they want to say, well, we're not talking about white people. Why not? Why aren't we talking about white people? Maybe we should talk more about white people. That's what I would say.
Very thorough there, Black Steel. Very thorough. I wasn't trying to grill you, by the way. I just was playing that devil's advocate.
Oh, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I've heard this conversation before where, and in particular, a lot of black conservatives like to pull that conversation of, why you focus on what white folks do? Let's focus on what we're doing, what's happening amongst ourselves. And I've heard, and there was a time when I could have actually probably said I could see some of these things because we tend to hyper focus on the negativity, like Black Steel said. We don't focus on the positive. We don't focus on the people, like Black Steel said, who are carrying out community gardens and carrying out karate workshops and all this kind of stuff, So I just wanted to ask that just to kind of flesh it out. So for those who might feel that way. That was real good, Black Steel. So with that said, let's hear what Jacadero says. By the way, shout out to Buana because he said he'll be here in 10 minutes. I don't know if he'll be on this topic in 10 minutes, but let's see what Jacadero can do. Jack, what say you?
Yeah, it sucks because, she's a good looking woman. Like I was, low key, I was in and out of what
Stop thinking with your dick, damn. Stop thinking with your dick.
I'm just saying, like, as I was watching this, I was like, man, she looked good. So it sucks that, she has to have an attitude and a viewpoint like this. But and if you could get her at, for research purposes, you let me know. But is she gaslighting? Absolutely. Most of the time when you find individuals like this, whether they're conservative viewpoint or hardcore Christians or whatever it is, right? You find that these people have a course to sell, a whole course. Like I'd almost guarantee that if you go to her, whether it's her Instagram or YouTube, it's connected to some link that has a course, and it's probably, filled with nonsense, and it's probably like, for $2,000, I'll tell you to brush your teeth and make your bed every morning. This is how you're gonna get a man. It's just really repetitive. Go to church on Sunday. It's like you needed to pay $2,000, and then they always want to upsell the course. The course is followed by like a trip, like, and then it's like a boot camp, like how to get a man in 6 months or in 2 years, and then they put you through a boot camp that you pay for. The boot camp is probably $7,000, and it's to somewhere in like Costa Rica, and you think like you're gonna get the education of a lifetime, but you're just filling the bank account of somebody else. So, is she gaslighting? Yeah, absolutely, she's gaslighting. She actually reminds me, Koku. I know that this is your show, but I want to share. She reminds me of this guy right here. If anybody knows who this guy is, this guy. This fucking
Anton Davis. Oh my God.
This guy, Black Steel, this guy. She reminds me of this guy because as much as he likes to entertain the idea that, he's making us better, he's making us smarter, he's making us more aware, all these things, it's all in bad taste. And this is the reason on why individuals like him and her do that. Here it is. Are you guys ready for it? It's because it gets views. When you talk negatively about Black people, I mean, you could apply this with like a lot of races, right? Because Indians, again, this is not me sympathizing, but I'm just stating like what I've just seen. And, Indians also get a good grunt of it. But when you insult Black people on the internet, bro, the views go up. You'll start to see a creator that you've watched, and it will always be somebody that's into personal fitness or finances. and they'll just start off personal business or finance, and that'll be their content. And then one thing in the political or socio-political atmosphere will happen, and they'll give their viewpoint. And let it be Black adjacent, they'll give their viewpoint, and all of a sudden, they won't stop. All of a sudden, every other video from then on becomes a whole teardown of the Black community. And it's because it just brings views. Now, are they saying to themselves, like, hey, well, I wasn't doing so good by just talking about money and talking about exercise, so let me go ahead and just harp on Black people? Maybe, but I will say that when you talk great about Black people, how often do you see that? Like, just in your guys' own YouTube algorithms, Instagram algorithms, TikTok algorithms, how often is it that you guys are getting something that showcases Black people in an awesome light, or just finding somebody that says, hey, good morning, Black people. Good morning, Black woman. Good morning, Black man. I love you. I love the skin that you have. I love the full lips that you have. I love the fact that from the deep dark melanin to like the lightest brown hue, I love that about you. And all those things. It's very, at least for me, it's very, very rare. And I've built up all my algorithms to a point where I don't see any other races. But the stuff that I get is just total, it's tough. It's nonsense. So I want to say that keep in mind that the reason why Koku, you were sent this from probably somebody submitting this, is because it ended up in the algorithm, and that wasn't by accident. These are topics, and again, this is not new. I think Black exploitation films of like the 70s, I believe, right? They were in bad taste, and I don't know if they were getting viewed or if they were getting their return back on money, nonetheless. But it was a lot of like that type of movies that moved. And then even in the comedy world, right? Like the old time comedians, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy had that famous line about, bringing a girl or dating an African girl. Eddie, why you treat me like animal? And he's like, I just met you. Didn't you just come from the bush yesterday? I think is how he follows it up. These type of things, it projects and just pushes that person into whatever level that they want to be at. It's sad that they decide to go along with that. But there is stuff to counter this, always, whenever you can, either counter it with some good stuff or just ignore it, just tell the algorithm, like, I don't want to see this stuff. But yeah, again, it sucks that, she's as good looking as she is. And, she has that negative stuff to say, man.
Jacadera, for you, I'll let you know. In fact, I'll tag her when I clip this. She goes by Carmen Jaycee or JC, Carmen Jaycee. So you let us know how that go, okay?
I appreciate it. We'll get her at the network, huh?
With that said, thanks, Jacadera, for that. But before I go on to Buana, who's here now, you're right. You and Black Seal are spot on, man. The algorithms never give, like the algorithms probably never show the Bitter Medicine podcast or any of the shows on KWAZ radio. They probably never come up because, there's this term shadow ban where you can find us if you look us up, but you probably won't come across one of our videos randomly on YouTube or whatever, which is also room for another conversation. Like, we got to start getting into technology a little bit heavier, whereas we could create these algorithms ourselves. I never forget, before I ever went on TikTok, I remember a guy, I think it was an Arab guy too, was talking about how, like, in China, where TikTok comes from, they don't get the nonsense, the dances and all that stuff, from what I understand. They get like science and philosophy and all that kind of stuff, but we get the nonsense, you know what I mean? It's very, very interesting that we haven't cracked that yet and created a platform where the algorithm, you know, allows for more positive things, you know. With that said, man, in the chat, KW Don 7 says there's been a lot of soft shoe cooning by Negroes since the Charlie Kirk deletion. That's interesting. Trigger Happy 262 Plus says, I do think criticism levied against Black women can happen in a better and good faith manner, just not the way she approached it. Black conservatives don't ever conserve Black traditions. Lastly, KW Don 7 said Anton Daniels bought a Tesla Cybertruck, shaking my
and again, this is good. He just said it right. Whether Antoine bought it with his 9 to 5, because he is an IEIU or EX. He's into like software development or like website design. So whether that he got that from us is not the biggest thing. The biggest thing though is that there are other creators who are making a living just off of, right? It's shock jock, right? There was a time where literally let's call him Charlemagne the Minimum, right? From the Breakfast Club. He made a living off of just being a caricature. And it got him to these levels that you see. Now, again, it's up to each and every one of us to say, or put out these messages, tell our younger brothers, tell our younger sisters, you don't have to entertain this stuff. This lady said blankly, like, yo, your guys' poom is cursed. Are you serious? Like, come on. Like, what are we talking about? Anytime that somebody says something like that, it should immediately go off to us to be like, okay, I'm not going to listen to you. Black Steel brought up like the Hodge twins. I used to watch their funny thing is Black Steel. I used to watch their content for exercise, and I stopped just because it got to a point where, hey, like you've seen enough videos, you're just gonna, you should be able to like get in the gym and know what you're doing now. Then years later, I see them, and now they're doing the absolute most on the internet, and it's like, how did you get to this point? How? Again, it pays though, but just because it pays, it doesn't mean that it's good.
All right, so I'm going to play the video one more time, but before I do it, because one just came up, I just want to read some of the comments. It says, I'll never get tired of hearing this woman speak the truth. Someone else says, as a black man, it's rare to see a Black queen like yourself. It's tiring hearing other Black women thinking they are better than everyone else. Someone says, you got to stop holding back, Carmen. Let it go. A Black woman here named Black Dutchie says, the bonnet, lashes, the fighting over men, and furry slides. Tell them, young soul. So she has some people who follow it. Let me play it one more time because Bonner's here now, and then we'll discuss.
The sisterhood seems to need a reality check, so yes, I'll be the one to give it to you. First of all, you're not desirable. Let's start there. You have horrible attitudes and you behave like animals. Not to mention, your own men don't want you, and when they do sleep with you, they leave you, and you breed destruction because your womb is cursed. You care more about aesthetic and Gucci, Louis, and Prada than you care about your children and making sure your children can read, and at the very least, making sure they're safe. This is why they're laid out in the streets. And do I have to add that your children are killing each other? Amazing. Y'all are the main ones that promote dysfunction. You support Sexy Red as she sell your children yellow discharge and gonorrhea lip glosses. Do I need to continue? And then you have the nerve to complain about Black men when you're the ones that's raising them. And when they raise children by themselves, they do a hell of a better job than you do. And then you have the nerve to shame Black men when you guys are doing God knows what for money behind closed doors. You're poisoning their children, and you are just dysfunctional all the way around. And the fact that you think that your aesthetic changes your mentality is amazing. And if you just see how you and your children act on social media in the real world, just all the way around, it is disgusting because you are disgusting. And do I have to mention that you guys lead in everything that is negative: STDs, abortion, obesity, single motherhood, and you think you're smarter than everybody else when you're the dumbest group in America? And y'all swear everyone wants to be like y'all, but y'all just really want to be like white women, which you will never be. The sisterhood seems to need a reality check, so yes.
One of the questions I would like to ask Carmen is what sets her different from the sisterhood? By the way, Daily Affirmation by Pauline says, good evening. I Can Fire must have heard his name called. He says, play the video again. I didn't hear it. What sets Carmen aside? But one, you've seen and heard everything everyone else had to say. What say you to all of it? First of all, how are you this week?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad to hear from y'all brothers, man. Y'all guys sound good. Y'all guys sound good. Um, the reason why I put this prompt up is Jacadell is right in some of the things he say. I was listening to him, but I put the prompt up because I thought it would make a good discussion. Um, but Jacadero and you, Koku, y'all said that it's important to understand the technology. I didn't. You know what? I didn't understand what race bait, no, rage baiting was. And then when I kind of like got an understanding what rage baiting was, I said, "Oh, this is what Tariq them is be doing." Like, because it because because really and truly that attracts a lot of people. It provokes people, and people rage. They hate watch these kinds of things. And what's the name now? The sister from the Caribbean, the black lady. I can't remember her name now. The pretty lady, very pretty lady. She's in all these political circles. Conservative woman.
Wait. Candace Owens is
Candace Owens.
Caribbean?
Well, her background, somewhere in her background, I heard that somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But I was saying to myself, oh, Candace Owens, this is what they doing. And it just really dawned on me. They rage bait. And that is an actual term. That is an actual term. So I say, okay, that's what these people are doing. And they get a because she's a pretty girl. She could sell her beauty, and she's selling to the conservative crowd the nonsense that she was spewing. So I say, oh, I got it now. I got it. But let me say this too. When you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. Okay? Now, sometimes, and I can't discount people experiences. Sometimes when brothers and sisters come on this panel, we are expressing what have experienced in life. Okay? Now, maybe this woman, it's possible. Maybe because it's possible she could be sincere in what she's saying. I doubt it, but it's possible. So I'll speak to her the possibility. Maybe the people she's encountered in her lifetime fits the characteristics of all the things she's talking about. Because we can't ignore that. I tell Brother Bakari sometimes to see both sides. See both sides to a conversation. Yes, there are wonderful the women in our lives that we would have met. They are wonderful women. They contributed to our lives. Nothing what this lady was saying kind of resonated with what we found, what we discussed. But there's some other brothers who come on for the panel. The name I'll keep their names unmentioned. They consider some women to be state property. They state property. They do fit into the characteristics of the ladies that this woman is mentioning. And I can't ignore the experience as well. And we can't ignore the fact that yes, she is right when it comes to the characteristics that she was mentioning. Some women do, some black women, whether we want to admit that or not, do fit these characteristics. Unfortunately, some, but I always say some. And based on our experience, we're gonna see the world like that. Let me also say this too. Sometimes when a person opens their mouths, they project. They project like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is tell you all the things he internalizing with himself onto other people. A lot of right-wing racists do that too. You know, when they talk about black folks in the black community, they're really speaking about themselves, but they would never admit that because sometimes we run away from ourselves. So we basically project it onto others. But the reason why I put this on is uh, the reason that it really made me laugh. The reason I put this on is not everyone is one thing all the time. I always say this thing that black people are not a monolith. Just as you have good women, like Urzuli say, Queen Keisha's out there, just like how you have great women out there who've been uh, commendable in their actions and their deeds and all these other things, you do have groups of women who fit these stereotypes, and we have to address both of these people if we want to have a real conversation with our community, if we want to have a real conversation. So this is the reason why sometimes I don't run away from some tough conversations, especially from some quarters, some brothers who go hard on the women. I don't run away from them conversations. In fact, I embrace them because I know if you want to be a well-rounded individual, you have to accept the good with the bad as well. But that's what I wanted to say to this poem.
Buana, what makes this woman any different from a white supremacist? Besides the fact that Jack Adero wants to fuck her.
well, because because what she is doing, I believe, and Jacadero believes, and I believe she's doing this specifically for money and rage baiting.
Reviews. Come on,
So.
Black.
I think
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that she really feels. I don't personally think she really feels this way, and I could be wrong. So I have to address that as well. I have to address.
Why is it everyone talks about she's holding black people accountable, and then it's every negative stereotype about black people? Well, y'all eat fried chicken and watermelon, and you don't take care of your kids, and your womb is. Who says their womb is cursed? Like we got white women raising up school shooters and rapists, but the black woman's womb is cursed. Get the fuck out of here.
Yes, but let's address it then, Black Steel. Let's address it. Let's address some of the things you say. If you
everything
say,
doesn't need, but here, here's why I disagree with you. Everything does need to be addressed. When you start, when you come, I believe when you come as somebody in good faith, we can address that.
Yes.
But when you're up here regurgitating anti-black stereotype, I don't got to address that. Get the fuck out of my face.
Okay.
I'm not gonna debate or argue my humanity with somebody. And that's exactly what she's doing.
Sure, but this me and you talking now. I ain't talking about her. This me and you talking. What if some of the things she is saying is factual? What if? Just what if? I try to get you to make you about it. What if?
I would argue are black people in the condition that we're in because of our dysfunction, or is our condition, or is dysfunction causing our condition? Which one is it, the chicken or the egg? I mean,
that's the answer. No, that's the answer. That's the answer. That's a reasonable answer. And you are right. You can't debate people who try to gaslight you in bad faith. But for the brothers who like Razuli, he call us a bunch of simps. I would like him to come up. But there's, like I say, there are some people. Anyways, I'll just leave it. But hold
on, Buana. Like, okay, Ozuli says that, we're some simps, right? He didn't give any names, but maybe he's talking about me, right? If this was Antoine Daniels on the screen instead of the lady, I'd still want to give Antoine Daniels a chance to also explain himself as well. Right? I'd still give him the respect just because he's black. Just off of the strength that he's black. That's what I'm doing with the sister. Just off of the strength that you're a woman, you're a black woman, you're going to speak about black women issues. Do you have a very terrible way of going at it? Absolutely. But does that make me a simp? I don't think so. Is she really good looking? Yeah, absolutely. But to say that that I'm gonna take accountability away from her, no, I'm still putting her foot to the fire. If anybody can get in touch with her and bring her here, if anything, I would want to ask her, like, what
This is not a dating program, my friend. This is not a dating program.
No, stop.
But just like any other, right? Any other person, whether it's a man or a woman, any other person with her type of viewpoints, I want them on this show and be like, hey, like, what got you to this type of thinking? Right? Like, I know we don't like to use this example, guys, because, you know, it's a touchy one for a lot of people, but Malcolm was robbing people at some point in his life, right? Malcolm was robbing. He was in prison at some point in his life.
We got to stop using Malcolm.
I know.
Come
Here
on,
we
man.
go. Yeah.
Malcolm's parents were Garveyites.
Yeah,
okay?
Did that save him from going to prison?
But he had the background though. He had something he could fall back on. Some of these people are coons. Their mama was a coon. Their daddy was a coon. Their grandma was a coon. Their great grandma tried to sell out Nat Turner. Some of these people, like Bakari said, we got to stop listening to these black white nationalists because they black. These people bring nothing of value. They hate being black.
Now you say this, but Malcolm was, in the words of Carlos Cooks, conking his hair. So if there was anybody that was a grade A coon at that time, Carlos Cooks would have been like, bro, it's this red, Detroit Red, this guy right here from Omaha, Nebraska. It's this guy. So I'm saying, do we not give people chances? When did we become such a people that we're like, you know what? Throw out the baby with the bathwater, all in by itself.
Black people are under attack, man. We are living through a renaissance of white supremacist nationalism. We do not have the time. It's too late in the day to be trying to convince people.
So, hello, everyone.
It's too late in the day. I'm sorry. If you haven't figured it out yet, go. What did Dr. John Henry Clark say? If you go over there, you stay over there. You hate black people so much, go live over the white people, see how they treat you.
So, hello, everyone. Is it okay for me to jump in?
Just give me a second. I like to introduce people before they just jump in. But real quick, before I go to Ike, let me just say that we do need to critique. Someone gotta close their mic. We do need to critique and hold our people accountable with his bad behavior. Though my question is, and I'm not looking for an immediate answer, but my question is, when do we do that? When is it okay? Because sometimes, I'll be honest with you guys, when we have these panels, sometimes it seems like it's never okay, especially when it's black women, to critique, to criticize, etc. So I just want to know, when do we do that? With that said, let's welcome in I Can Fire this week. I Can Fire, how are you this week?
Of course, man. Hello, everyone. Respect to the host. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Okay, respect to everyone. I disagree with a whole lot of people on the panel. This lady is, of course, a bit disrespectful, but she is right. And then the thing with black people, thin-skinned behavior is, when did tough love is not love? When since tough love is not love? You feel me? And then hold on. Are you a friend if your friend is going astray and you don't say nothing? Are you a friend? Huh? And sometimes don't your friend need some tough love? Like hold on, don't be no good for nothing and you acting good for nothing and all that. It's a little rough, but there it is. You're not being a hypocrite. Now seeing black women going down the drain, you feel me? And everybody pandering and don't want to tell her the offensive behavior that she's displaying is wrong, and it's wrong to her. She don't have nothing to thank you for after you let her go astray. You feel me? What I say is, of course, sometimes you have to be a little you have to have some discretion. You feel me? But when people is arrogant, sometimes you got to be blunt, and sometimes their arrogance is going to overrule how you gonna say anything to them, and sometimes you have to just loudly display it. And even if they wanna get mad or whatever, you say it. That means they cannot say you never said it. You feel me? Not because they arrogant. That means they got they gonna stop you from talking. And some way in the future, those words might reconnect. But people got to hear that you are being dysfunctional. You feel me? Just like this lady is saying that um she of course black woman's womb is not cursed. You feel me? But if she keep producing bad stuff, it's like this. Christianity and white people have voodoo on us. Christianity is a main entity in the voodoo. You feel me? So what happened is we are in a trance. We're in a trance and it's getting worse and worse because after Christianity is strippers, um, police, soldiers, um, uh, um, the president. Everybody is Christian. The wickedest wicked is Christian. So don't make nobody trick you like this holy people is the Christian. No. And first of all, God not coming for nobody out of the sky. You feel me? So we have to straighten up ourselves. We can't wait for God to straighten us up. We have to straighten ourselves up. So that's one of the main things I'm be saying. I disagree with the dudes being offensive and saying that the lady is like a black people hater. No. This is love. I think she's showing abundant love right now. You feel me? And then why people criticize the black man all the time, and feel free to criticize the black man about stuff, all type of stuff, and then in all type of ways, whether derogatory or intelligently, but everybody is offended about criticizing the black woman. She's getting away with keeping us colonized, and if we don't pay her attention, she's gonna destroy us all. We have to make sure she's learned in in black consciousness culture. So she's proud of her hair and she displayed everywhere. So she's proud of her skin and she don't want to change it in any way. And she's proud of her race. So she don't be going around in every other race is bad. You feel me? All these things is to be addressed. And these things she can do it what you call voluntarily if she's raised that way. You feel me? So that's where I'm going. Thank you for your time.
So for those of you who agree with what she's saying, I want to know specifically what it is you agree with her on, because she sounds like Charlie Kirk. Basically, we was talking bad about Charlie Kirk when a black woman says it's okay. She's doing this out of love. So I want to know what you agree with.
Well, she never said that if she went in a plane and see black pilots, she would be. She would be. I didn't think he said that.
Hey, Coco, can you play the video again? Because I ain't gonna lie, I didn't hear it. I heard some of what Bawana say she said. And I heard Black
Yeah,
Steve.
run that back, please. I want to know exactly
because I want to speak. Because I want to speak after I hear it. If that's okay, Coco.
I can't. You are funny, bro. Bro, I can't. You are hilarious.
Yeah, I got a Zuli here as well. So
no, bro, it's being unjust.
Play it, and then Brother Bukhari.
Bro, it's being unjust. A whole black supremacist black woman you are referring to.
Hold up, man. He getting ready to play the video again. Wait a minute. He getting ready to play the video again, dude.
Okay.
First, Zuli, you saw the video, right?
Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah. First of all, how are you doing this week?
I'm all right. I'm good.
All right.
I could talk. So
What they should play?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on. Everybody ain't see the video. Play. You should play the video because Bakari ain't see it either. Cool.
This nigga gonna tell the man how to run his show. Ain't you in the Bahamas?
Let's play the video then. Give me one. Yeah.
We're a team.
It seems to need a reality check, so yes, I'll be the one to give it to you. First of all, you're not desirable. The sisterhood seems to need a reality check, so yes, I'll be the one to give it to you. First of all, you're not desirable. Let's start there. You have horrible attitudes and you behave like animals. Not to mention, your own men don't want you, and when they do sleep with you, they leave you, and you breed destruction because your womb is cursed. You care more about aesthetic and Gucci, Louis, and Prada than you care about your children and making sure your children can read, and at the very least, making sure they're safe. This is why they're laid out in the streets. And do I have to add that your children are killing each other? Amazing. Y'all are the main ones that promote dysfunction. You support Sexy Red as she sell your children yellow discharge and gonorrhea lip glosses. Do I need to continue? And then you have the nerve to complain about Black men when you're the ones that's raising them. And when they raise children by themselves, they do a hell of a better job than you do. And then you have the nerve to shame Black men when you guys are doing God knows what for money behind closed doors. You're poisoning their children, and you are just dysfunctional all the way around. And the fact that you think that your aesthetic changes your mentality is amazing. And if you just see how you and your children act on social media in the real world, just all the way around, it is disgusting because you are disgusting. And do I have to mention that you guys lead in everything that is negative: STDs, abortion, obesity, single motherhood, and you think you're smarter than everybody else when you're the dumbest group in America? And y'all swear everyone wants to be like y'all, but y'all just really want to be like white women, which you will never be. This is
That's love, by the way. That's love.
That's pure love.
Go, Azuli. I can't wait to go after. I can't wait to after Azuli. I got Azuli. I told a couple weeks ago. I mean, we didn't argue. I said Azuli been right about some shit, until now. I just wanted to let you know that, Azuli.
Could I say something? Hold on. Play. Look for a girl fight. 1 second. Look for girl fight and look for.
Hold on. Like I said, let me shout out to Sister Raw. Let me shout out to Forecast Radio. Let me shout out to Chuck Wu, who said that's tough love. Chuck Wu was on the panel a couple weeks ago when I wasn't here. Shout out to you guys. The matron, a Black woman, is saying she's speaking to one aspect of Black society, not all of Black society. She is specifically talking to and about whore culture. And I was going to get to that too, matron. I appreciate you reminding me of that. But in the meantime, I know Ike want to say something, but there's a flow here. I need Julie to speak, then Brother Bakari, and then everyone can have a conversation after that. And by the way, if you want to join the panel, just click the link at the top of the chat. Urzuli, what say you?
Hey, what's up, everybody? What I'm gonna say is this. What she's saying, the house is burning for us. The house is burning for Black people. There's no time for me to be nice to you and be like, hey, get your shoes on and come out. Nah, get your bitch ass up, let's go. We're not doing that. So what that lady's doing, yes, the first thing she said is rough. My issue with that is, if she didn't say that on YouTube and she said it in a room of Black people only, all these same people on here saying that she's wrong would have said the same thing. So this young lady right now, I think she's a conservative. I see some of her shows from time to time. Whatever she's just, I disagree with what the matron said, that she's talking to only one demographic, because they got doctors, Black women, they got lawyers, Black women, who support all that bullshit she's talking about. It's not about, let's just focus on the girls, the Black women in the hood, and the lawyer female, the doctor Black female, the lawyer Black female. They think the same way. No, I'm not gonna say all Black women or more, but I'm saying that a good majority of them do. and the brother said something, just because that lady, somebody criticizing you for your faults is not hatred. That could be considered love. Bro, you messing up? Here it is, do this and do that. Granted that she said, okay, black women wombs are polluted. Yo, let's not, she doesn't mean it like that. What she's talking about is a lot of the, even if you watch the statistics, when black men raise their kids as single fathers, those kids come out great. There's a statistic that says that black men are the most involved. Black fathers, out of all the race, are the most involved. By involvement, I mean that, oh, let me pick you up and let's go play ball. Oh, I'm gonna come to your basketball game, or I'm gonna come to your theater play and stuff like that. What this young lady is saying, yes, it's rough. It sounds rough. But what I feel that is that black people, the community, and I'm not just talking about America, I'm talking about the Caribbean, I'm talking about Africa. The whole shit is burning. So, and the number one people that they're using to burn the shit down is the black, is a lot of the time is the sisters. Because they're making the sisters go into their ego. When you go into your ego, you think everything is about you. You don't look at it as a team. So I saw a video where a young man was telling a sister, hey sis, you shouldn't wear that blonde wig. There was like 6 sisters. They all turned on him and just disrespected him. So granted, it's not only the sisters that have to fix themselves, the brothers have to fix themselves too, because it's a team, we're all in this together. But I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, this young lady is a white nationalist, this and that and the third. Because you know what? If Malcolm X had said the same thing, some of y'all would have called him a white nationalist too. If Martin Luther King had said the same thing, y'all would have called Martin Luther King a white nationalist too. A lot of us black people, it's like a crack addict. A crack addict, no matter what you tell him to leave crack, he's gonna say you hating on him. So yes, that young lady's language is kind of tough, but a lot of the statistics she said is correct. And I disagree with the people saying, oh, it's only one demographic of so now y'all gonna try to blame the black girls in the hood only. No, y'all in corporate, y'all in blue collar job, y'all all do the same thing. So I'm not gonna say, yes, the language is rough and tough. Yes, rough and tough. But when the house is burning, hey, sometimes you gotta get a little vulgar. So should you have it like in the 1950s, prior to the 1950s, 1920s, 30s, black people were getting married at a 90% clip. So for that young lady, based on what she said, she's trying to tell you that we could go back to that. We could go back to that. And a lot of things we celebrate, first of all, the music is trash. A lot of the thing that we watch and people are gonna say, oh, all the races do the same thing. I get it, but also there's a way that music interact with black people might be different from other people. First of all, a lot of us, and I'm not just gonna say label the sisters, but a lot of the community, they love that BS type sexualization drug music. This is what she's talking about. So maybe she's a little rough on the ladies, but like the brother said earlier, for black men, they come for us all the time. Or you're not providing, you're a deadbeat, you this and that and that. So somebody holding a woman accountable, not she's a white nationalist? Oh, that's it, man. That's all I have to say.
Hey, you ain't got to introduce me because you told me I was going there.
Thank
you. Yeah. Thank you, Coco. What I heard, I agree with what Black Steel said. I find black men that have a problem with black women. That woman is talking about one demographic of women. And for someone to try to act like that it's all black women, they have a problem with their mother. And I don't give a damn who get mad when I say it. They have a problem with the way they were raised. Oh, black men this, black men that. They want to make it they are trying to make it a black man versus black woman contest. Icon 5, that's what we always do. He got a problem with women, with black women. So when they sit up here and they go, the black man is more involved. You can find that written somewhere. But my lady got a 7-year-old daughter who called me daddy because she have no idea what her daddy looked like. So when we sit here and say this stuff, and we're gonna try the black doctors, the black lawyers, they all do the same thing. I'm not saying there ain't no black doctor or a black lawyer that do that. That's not what I'm saying. But to try to act like all the black women doctors and all the black women lawyers is like what this funk ass skank is saying on this video. And I don't give a damn. Don't know black. See, Jackadero must be desperate as hell. Because anybody who can listen to this black woman and want to hold a conversation with them, something is wrong. Anybody who thinks this woman should be invited in spaces to hold a conversation with black people with that nonsense she just said, that's not, oh, she was criticized. That's all she wasn't critical. She said that she called black women animals. She told black women they're not desirable. I guess she's something else. So she's an animal. She's not desirable to only Jackadero. But so everything she's saying by black women, I guess that's her too. But it's easy because people follow. Goku, think about the video that I sent you. People follow the algorithm. They don't want to hear nothing real. They follow the algorithm. So the algorithm have had a black man versus black woman all over social media for the last 5 years. So now when someone talking, they hear that, and she says something negative about a black woman, you're gonna find black men who's gonna be all over it because they have been caught up in this fake nonsense. Black man versus black woman. I agree with Black Steel. There's no need to listen to a woman like that. You got people out here raised. Why would somebody with a daughter, with a black daughter, want them to say anything that this skank right here is saying? She ain't said nothing positive. The revolutionary queen, our matron, is absolutely right. There's a certain section. You can talk about the music. You can talk about how women dance in the videos, but you can talk about the men that made the music so women can dance in the video. So it's a certain type of men that like that certain type of woman. So if that ain't the woman for you, that ain't the woman for you. But to sit on here and to just, I'm going to sit on here and say it's black women and ain't no black woman desirable. Your man don't want you. Who on this panel don't have a black woman? Do everybody on the panel have a black woman? So that means there's black. So that means there's black men that want black women. So there go one. Your men don't want you. Which black woman the man don't want? Which black woman the black man don't want? So she just sitting over here spewing stuff to insult black women and black people. Maybe she had a horrible mother. I don't know. Maybe she had a horrible mother. Maybe the thing she's saying is from her background and it's from her mother. But for black men to get on here and co-sign this nonsense, I could be in a room with just black people, Azuli. I wouldn't agree with that and say, yeah, she's right. And please stop saying, if Martin Luther King had said this, if Malcolm X had said this, they didn't say it. And I don't agree with everything Martin Luther King said. I don't agree with everything Malcolm X said. So if Martin Luther King had said it, if Malcolm X had said it, I wouldn't have agreed with it. And there's a whole lot of other black men that would not have agreed with it. She just wanted to come on. She's trying to be a younger Candace Owens. And like I was, all you have to do if you want to make money, get on social media and ish on black people, you will make money. Because the crazy thing about it, you gonna find other black people that get on there and co-sign you ishing on black people. I'll yield the mic.
So I'm just gonna jump to the head of the line because I'm like that. First of all, a couple things. I'm gonna jump to the head of the line. But let me just say this. Everything she said was a stereotype. What facts did she come up? First of all, we got Professor Xavier on the panel. He can read minds. He need to be on the X-Men instead of being on Bitter Medicine podcast, because he's a mind reader, because he knows what Black women are thinking, no matter what job they have, right? This woman and people like this, right? They think of Black people in stereotypes. So you can say you're disgusting. You act like animals. That's right. That's right. That's right. Because they hate Black people too. You can't listen to somebody sit there and say Black women are like animals, and you have a Black mother, a Black sister, a Black daughter, a Black niece, and say, "Oh, you're disgusting. Your man don't want you." And when they do, they just leave you pregnant because your wombs are cursed. And you can sit here and say, "Well, she's factual. That she's speaking for love." Really, was Charlie Kirk speaking with love when he said that Black people were better off in the civil rights movement? He didn't feel comfortable. Were these white racists that are saying the same thing? Are they speaking with love? Because that's basically what she's saying. What she's saying is no different than a Klan member. And only because, and again, only reason it's okay is because some of y'all got issues. We have internalized anti-Blackness within our community. And we have made it so acceptable that when you say these anti-Black things, they look at you speaking truth. And we're called simps for thinking no Black women aren't disgusting. No Black women don't lead the stats and everything bad. Excuse me? Have you looked outside? You're gonna walk outside and say that Black women have lead the stats and everything bad? When you got white women out here raising serial killers and school shooters, but Black women is out here raising everything bad. They're the ones, their wombs are cursed. Okay, they're disgusting. They act like animals. It's okay to, you can go online and you can pick certain clips and whatnot. The thing, there's three types of lies, right? There's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. And statistics can be twisted to fit any type of narrative that you want. For forever, these white supremacists have been talking about 1350. 13% of the population, meaning Black Americans, 13% commit 50% of the crime. That is not a factual stat, but they throw it around so much that people believe it. So she's in here saying all these negative stats about Black people being dysfunctional. And again, you got to ask the question: are Black people dysfunctional because we're oppressed, or are we oppressed because we're dysfunctional? We want to try to sit up and try to put the blame on Black people's condition, on Black people's behavior, when Black people are very much have been oppressed. We've been institutionalized, and you cannot sit up here and look at our behavior as separate from our oppression. When you have 400 years, or not even longer, you want to sit up here and say these things about Black people like we're just white people, we're just mind our own business and we're just dysfunctional because we're just dysfunctional. You don't apply no nuance or nothing to it. It's bullshit. So I've said all I want to on this topic. I know I'm not going to change any minds. People feel how they feel, but I've said all I had to say.
Let me thank for that, Black Steel. Let me get in Chuck Wu, and then after Chuck Wu, we can have a free-for-all discussion for a couple of minutes on it. Chuck Wu, how are you this week?
Salute. Thanks for having me up. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the chat. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Go ahead.
There's several different things happening here. So there is no unified Black community with unified interests. Black people really are not a monolith. There's at least 5 different Black communities. Ever since desegregation, the Black community has splintered into at least 5 different groups. You have the the wealthy elite Blacks, your millionaires, your billionaires, your Beyoncés, your LeBrons, your business owners. You have your middle class Blacks, which is like 50, more than 50% or 60% of Black people. You have a large minority of Black people who are underemployed, who are in poverty, and there's a lot of dysfunction in this group of Black people. I think that's who she's addressing. I don't think she's addressing everybody. I think she's addressing a very dysfunctional group of people who have children out of wedlock, who have a high rate of gang activity in their families, drug abuse. We'll get to that later. And then there's biracial Blacks. There's Blacks who have one Black parent, one white parent, one Black parent, one Hispanic parent, and then there's Black immigrants. I fall into that category. So this idea that Black people have a single culture and are plugged into the same culture and have the same religious beliefs is a mistake. So when I hear her, it's easy for me to hear that this is a Christian conservative. She's an evangelical Christian. So she's coming from a place of religious conservatism. That's what she's speaking about. She's talking about a very evangelical view of morality and of how women are supposed to carry themselves. And she's applying this view on the underclass. She's really talking about the Black underclass. So this is a class issue and a religious issue that I see that she's describing. And, you know, there are variations in how people conduct their affairs. And uh, nobody is above criticism. I mean, I I think all of us are subject to criticism, and this notion that you're not allowed to criticize a certain group of people doesn't sit right. If people are acting in ways that are producing bad outcomes for their children, for themselves, I think it merits criticism. So I don't see what she's saying as being a white supremacist. I think she's a person who has standards, and she is, you know, I'm trying to impose those standards or introduce those standards to other people. And so that's one point. And I think that there are two different two different framings of why we have disproportionate why there's disparities in outcomes. So there is there's a a bias narrative, and there is a development narrative. So this bias narrative is that whenever you see any disparity between Black people and white people in median income rates and marriage rates and incarceration rates and teenage pregnancy rates and drug abuse, grades, anything, it's to do with the fact that we live in a society that is racist against us, systemic racism. And the only way to fix these disparities is to appeal this to the larger society. The society is at fault for erecting these barriers that we're not able to get over. So we have to petition to society to either make special programs or set asides, or social norms have to change in order to accommodate us and for us to achieve parity with other groups. The drawback to this view is that the power to change things are not in our hands. We have to petition the dominant society. And I mean, I think there is some truth to this view, but I think it's trying to change the society that you live in is very difficult. And I don't know that I don't see how that's doable in our lifetime. But there is a development narrative that says that the disparities that we see between groups are due to uh, elements of our early childhood development and cultural traits between different groups. So, if there's one group of people who have children who are being raised in a household that does not contain men, or the men aren't there for significant periods of time, you have a situation where the woman is both the disciplinarian and the breadwinner, and she's not able to do both of those things well simultaneously. So as a result, there's the children are more likely to be poor and more likely to have bad grades because she's not able to look out to make sure they're doing their homework. Children are more idle, which means that they're more likely to get into trouble, to use drugs, to have teenage pregnancy, to participate in gangs. And there's a lot of pathologies that enter just because of these events in early childhood. The benefit of this framing of it is that there are things that we as individuals can do to change it. And I think what she's doing is that she is focused on this um, developmental narrative, and she is trying to orient ourselves to this view of how can we change things to make things better. And I'll land the plane there.
Hold on, bro. I mean, listen, I don't think nobody can top what you said a while ago, because you articulated the real shit. You feel me? And I don't really oppose you. You feel me? My brother said it's kind of free, so I wasn't talking for a minute, so let me say something.
Then let me go after you. Then let me go after you.
Okay. There's evidence. This lady, this beautiful empress, the only wrong thing I have with her is maybe she not wearing her real hair. You feel me? But this beautiful lady, this precious lady that should be treasured, you feel me? And disrespect to anybody that call her names. You feel me?
Like the same way
Anyway,
I disrespect you and call your weak ass name. Koku, I know I'm on your panel and I don't want to be rude, but this dude here is weak.
yeah,
He done already said he's scared of white. He done already said he don't want to fight, but he'll fight a black woman. So
dude,
I'm
you
gonna
ain't
get off.
nobody.
I'm gonna
You,
get off
you ain't
with your
nobody.
weak ass. With your weak
You ain't
ass. I'm just
nobody.
telling you
You
what he has
you
said,
a
Koku,
mama's boy.
on several
You a mama's boy. You
on
ain't
several
nobody,
different
man.
channels. He only
Do you
want
know
to
your
fight black
daddy?
women. He only want
You
to
don't know
fight
your
black
daddy,
women.
man.
He only want to fight black.
Shut up and be a man, man. Quiet, man. You come here arguing with men. You
I
feel
ain't
me?
arguing with you. I told you you was weak. I'm
Yeah,
not
be
arguing with
quiet.
you. I said what I
Be
said.
quiet. Go
I
home.
won't get on the
What's wrong
front
with being
line
a
with
mama's
y'all,
boy? I
but
don't
I'll
understand
try to
that.
cook or something.
Yo, let him
You're
finish.
miserable, man.
Let him finish,
You're
man.
miserable, man.
Brother McCoy, let him finish. We know who he is. Let him make his week on point, man. Let him go.
Yeah, man. You're miserable, man. You feel me? As I said, you feel me? Because listen, men are doing things wrong, and we should address it. You feel me? You have Crips and Bloods, and we should address them. You feel me? But there's evidence of women who is the cultural representative of a people who do the most cultural exchange into our people. If she's going wrong, something must be said about it. You feel me? Now, I want to know now, where is, because this is the evidence, where has it ever been that woman who is against sexualization, when did you ever heard of a female march against strip clubs? Where where is it? It's sexualizing the woman, and it's objectifying the woman. So why isn't there a woman coalition?
So are you saying there's
against-
more women that objectify women than men objectifying women? Is that what you're trying to say?
no. I'm saying that women are are so deep in corruption that they want to be objectified. They they are in a zone where they think it's more money to
So
be objectified.
women control are in charge of advertising, marketing, and media. Is what you're telling me, that this is what they want. It's not something that men
Yeah,
are doing.
yeah, women control marketing and all that.
That's
You
bullshit.
feel me?
That's bullshit.
Okay, what I'm saying. Okay,
woman
this
owns a
what I'm
TV
saying.
station
Okay,
and a
this
network?
what I'm saying. Okay, this what I'm saying. Women have a mind of their own. You feel me? You have women who cannot be homos, and they all over pro homo shit. You feel me? So they making those decisions. Now, where is the
And who allows
anti-strip
them
club?
space?
No,
Okay, good. So who allows those specific type of women to go on media platforms? Other women or men that own those media platforms that have
all right,
those
hold on.
particular
So
type
I'm
of
saying
women to do
no.
it?
So hold on. So I'm saying this, right? Where the women have power over their actions. Where is the anti-strip club coalition from women? Where they go march
So
against
again,
strip
so this is what
clubs?
you're
I
doing.
agree.
Why you
I
got a
agree.
problem with titties, man?
So
Huh?
this is what you're doing. You admit that men controls media, but you're not going to hold the men that's displaying these dysfunctional women. You're going to blame the women. You see how
Well,
see how
well,
anti-women
listen.
that sound? See how
But
cowardly
you,
that
you got,
sounds?
but you gotta eat it. It's something thrown, or something is thrown to you. You gotta eat it.
No, you don't. You just said women have to make decisions, just like how
Yeah,
men have to make decisions. So
they
if
have
we
to make
know
the.
that that is probably like 90%, if not higher, of men that's making these spaces for these particular type of women to show black women like that. You can't be stupid enough. I'm trying to be nice to you. You have to be smarter than what you are right now to say, well, that's a representation of all black women. Only a fucking idiot would think that.
I think it comes down to individual decisions. It's not society that's making
It's the
women
generalizations
promiscuous.
that I don't get.
Right. I think we should bring into
simple-minded.
individualism.
If you think one group of you think one group of any person is representation of all those people, you're just a fucking moron. If anybody thinks that.
How about not being disrespectful, because you can get back disrespectful.
I am trying. So like,
Well, you better try or go. You better try or go disrespect your. Hold on, man. You better try being respectful or disrespect your bitch ass children.
One person, I say this one person or thing represents groups of people, of thousands of people. I can say someone with you from wherever you from. Oh, they all are misogynistic. In my personal view,
do you know what we're dealing with? Do you know what we're dealing with here? We're dealing with a culture war issue. This is a culture war issue, and whatever culture that you are plugged into,
white people and black people. It shouldn't be a
no. I wouldn't say what black people and white people.
Fighting each other. White people don't go out there. There's no. Let me
black
know.
People are not a monolith.
Let me know there's a white podcast out
there. Hold on.
Need to stop fucking dogs and stop being child molesters, and the white population is going down.
Bro, what's up with the big mouth and the long breath? What's up with the big mouth and the long wind? What's up with the big mouth and the long wind? What's up, man?
There's no white women.
Give people a break, man. Your voice sound like a girl. Your voice sound like a girl. We don't want to hear your voice. Your voice has tweak in it.
What happened, man? What happened to you? Why you
because you're a fucking weak ass bitch ass nigga. So you're a bitch ass nigga in real life.
We have differences of opinion. We don't have to insult each other. We can disagree without insulting each other.
Your voice sounds cute.
Gentlemen, we got to disagree without insulting each other.
All right,
black women, now you anti black men. Nigga, get the fuck out of here.
Talk, man. That people talk.
The black women have a whole dysfunctional army to defend her.
We should have an order in where people speak so that nobody's interrupting.
Let him finish and then you talk, brothers. We can't hear it when y'all all screaming.
Yeah, one at a time. One mic. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought I was talking. I thought I was the one who was talking.
I can. Let's not have any unpleasantries right now. You've been a little long-winded. I know Kofi was cutting you off because you were supposed to get your talk, and then Kofi went next. But Kofi was cutting in. It's okay. But just be mindful that there's about 10 of us on this panel, and I'm only hearing from about 2 people who are talking over one another. We got MG2 here as well. So let me break the noise. Let me get MG2 in, and I'm only going to give this about 5 more minutes after MG2, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. Okay? MG2, how are you this week?
Always good. Always good to hear you. I broke in, I guess, at the middle of a spirited conversation, no doubt.
You have quite a word with words, MG2.
Yo, what's up, MG2?
It's quite active, and a lot of adjectives. Actually, a lot of ad hominem makes great adjectives once in a while. One of the things that I kind of tend to like, I guess being my age, I'm getting old. In the midst of you've got Chicago under siege, you've got Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger under siege. And I find it quite remarkable. Extremely remarkable that issues of social, i.e., what women have done in strip clubs and other things take precedence. It's just kind of remarkable. I might be wrong, but maybe that's a priority that maybe we should focus on. I don't think so. I think there are other priorities out there. But anyways, there's something when I hear men, or males, excuse me, not men, actually say this, putting responsibility on women's actions totally on women. Not saying that this is the case. I've seen that happen before, maybe not here. But I've seen where, whether it's strip clubs or anything else, most men in the societies are responsible because as a man, it is my job to fix the problem. Then maybe not other folks, but I'm just telling my own opinion that if I find something wrong, I cannot place the blame on those I'm supposed to protect, nurture, love, the ones I'm supposed to educate, which are women. I look at like in animal nature, you see the gorilla. The main silverback is in charge of the troop. If something happens, he's the one who's got, the buck stops with him. Now, I've noticed this quite, it's quite evident, and it happens quite often in the quote unquote Black community where there are no silverbacks because clearly the buck is not stopping at them. Okay, so if there is an issue with women, and whatnot, and this is my own personal opinion, because I had to protect my sisters, my mom, my daughter. I have to do that. If there is an issue with women, I tend to think, and I may be wrong, that a real man will not censure the women, but censure himself because he might have not gone the full level of doing what real men do. So therefore, if you fix the problem, then there is no problem whether it's women in strip clubs, whether it's media, this and that and the other. There is no problem in the first place. If you are a true man, you'll fix it. And because, like they say, I got this. And the other thing I heard earlier is I heard something about petitioning the dominant society. It reminds me of that movie Pulp Fiction, where Ving Rhames was getting, for lack of a better term, his manhood compromised by a couple of rednecks who were quote unquote definitely dominant. And the thing that kind of I don't petition a dominant society because I don't want them to be dominant. It's kind of like a slave going to his master saying, "Can you not do me like Ving Rhames?" I don't think that and this is my personal opinion. When I hear I hear euphemisms like petitioning a dominant society, or we have to plead to them, or we have to, that kind of tells me that, again, like the earlier preference, example I gave you, this is not an example of manhood. You don't petition someone else who's dominating. You go ahead and fight them. I'll pass the mic.
MK, look at this. We are not fighting against the Black woman.
Can I respond?
Hold on, man. Hold on, man. Hey, treat me like a grown man and stop playing with me, bro.
You talk
I'm talking, man. Have some manners, man.
Let other people talk.
I'm talking, girl voice. Anyway, bro, listen. We are not against the Black woman.
Chuck, will go ahead.
Right. This will be very fast. So 2 things. He mentioned that he wanted to put the responsibility on women's actions onto men. Right. This is what I heard him say. Right. But you have to understand that responsibility and authority are linked. I cannot be responsible for something I have no authority over. And so, for instance, I'm married. And I have a wife and I have children and I have an extended family. I'm only responsible over what happens in my household. I decide. I'm responsible for the outcomes of what happens in my household. I'm not responsible for the outcomes of what happens in somebody else's household. I have no authority there. So you cannot transfer a responsibility to other people without also transferring authority. So understand 2 things. Authority and responsibility are linked. When you have an authority, you have to have an equal measure of responsibility and vice versa. So this notion that if women over here are acting badly, the men can somehow just are responsible for it. No, you're only responsible for something you have control over. So, I think husbands have a measure of responsibility over their wives and their children. But you don't have, I don't have any responsibility over what single mothers are doing who are unknown to me. So let's put that there. Put a pin in that.
Does
And
that
then
go for the
there's
Black
something else.
Panthers as well? Did that go
Say-
for the Black Panthers, Robert F. Williams, or Nation of Islam? I just wondered if that case mattered as well.
I was going to ask that too.
That's a different thing. But let me
Yeah,
land my
bro.
plane. There's one more thing I wanted. You're shifting my focus. I'm almost done. There was something else you said about, what was it? Something to do with petitioning the dominant society. So when you say that I'm a baby daddy because of society, what you're saying is, or I have a criminal record because of society, or I'm a gang member because of society, or something that, you know, the my actions are not my responsibility. They're the reactions of society. They're the responsibility of society. What you're doing is that you're transferring the responsibility away from yourself towards something outside yourself. You cannot control something outside yourself. If you're transferring responsibility outside yourself, you are giving control over to that thing. So I'm in agreement. I think if you believe that your destiny is determined by the government, by broad systemic racism, then you are transferring systemic racism exists, right? But there's ways to move that you can still have a good outcome. So whatever you transfer your responsibility to, that is what has authority over you. The same principle applies. So if it's society is the reason why you have a bad outcome, then you are an automaton controlled by society. So choose wisely, because if you think that you are where you are because of the dominant society, you're really essentially just saying that you're a white supremacist who believes that white people control you. And I'll land the plane there.
Let me
Are
say
you a
something right quick.
conservative?
Let me
Are you
say
a
something right quick.
conservative? Hold on.
Right
I
quick.
just one question. Are you a conservative? Would you align more with conservative views?
I would say
That's my brother Chuck. I'll let my brother Chuck speak for himself. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chuck.
I'd say
He's
I lean
blacker.
more conservative. I lean
He's
conservative.
blacker. He
No,
took up for
I'm not
he
MAGA.
was
I'm not
taking
Republican.
he
I
took
lean
up for Charlie
conservative.
Sorry,
KKK.
right?
He took up for Charlie KKK Kirk. But
I try to help you, my brother. I try to help you, my brother. Chuck, I try to help you, my brother.
He took up for Charlie KKK Kirk. But anyway,
I'm not for celebrating
when we,
people's murder. I don't celebrate
I
murder.
got you. But
All
when
I
we
know,
say
I'm never on the side of the homos.
when we say when we say other people is not our responsibility because I'm not married to them or it's not my child. That's why. That's a big part of the reason we're in this position that we in
Agreed.
now. And when
don't
you
think
hear
that's a
people,
community.
and when I hear people laugh, talk negative of what people did in the 50s and 60s, oh, all they did was march. No, they looked out for one another. They looked out for the community. And when
Amen.
I say the things that I say, just because I happen to be raised and had to do this stuff coming up. So now I've been in it since for 53. I'm 53 years old. I took a few years off, but I've been doing this my whole life. So yes, when I see a black woman, can I say something to her? Yes, but I'm not gonna sit out here and act like I'm not gonna sit out here and every black woman do what this woman said, or these black people is not my responsibility. You're right. They might not be yours, but it's this young lady right now who can pick up the phone. She's 22 years old. She called because you know what? She wanted a different career and she's looking to have ownership. And she said, and she spoke to me, and I told her, you can do this, 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 and this. She want trucks. So she went and got her CDL. And I've been showing her, and I'm taking her down. She's not my child. But I'm responsible because when these young people talk to me and they tell me some of the things that they want to do, and I have the knowledge to help them, I'm going to accept that responsibility and give it to them and give them my number. And they can pick up the phone and they can call me and we can hold a conversation. What is it you need? How can I help? Well, what about this? But see, but this is why we don't have no protection now. This is why we don't. This is why we can't pick up the phone and call 10,000 people and say, you know what? We need to go see them ICE people that killed that black woman in Chicago today. This is why, because we don't want to accept responsibility for one another. We want to figure out a way to talk negative. I'm talking about black men now, want to figure out a way to talk negative about black women and fight them because we are stronger. And I'm going to go real. I can even speak go real. But then you have it black. Because but then when
it's very dangerous in this time. It's very dangerous to be talking about individuality. That's very
Exactly.
dangerous.
Exactly.
People
you got people moving as community, and you talking about I got mine, you get yours.
Yeah,
That's
you're not reading the room, buddy. You're not reading. They're gonna put you on that truck too. Believe it.
Yo, like, can I say something real quick?
So,
yo,
yeah, Azuli, I'm gonna give you. Azuli, just give me a second. I'll give you a second. I find you guys like talking over me for some damn reason on the panel. When I'm talking, please don't talk over me, dog. All I wanted to say is this. I like where the conversation has gone to, in that it is room to criticize both men and women, because we're not working as individuals, we're a community. So men deserve criticism, women deserve criticism. Once it's on once it's fair, once it's not some straw man type of thing. Once it's fair. Zuli could go now. Go ahead.
One thing I'm gonna say is that there's room for both. There's room for that lady to talk like this, and there's room for what Bakari's talking about. Hey, I got an M4. Yo, it's like, yo, you want to play the Martin Luther King? I'm nice, I could give you love, and this sister could come here and give you that rough love. The brother was talking about something that was important. What he was saying about the stripper thing. Yes, a lot of the music companies are the CEOs are men, but a lot of them are women too. So let's not victimize the women and act like she don't got no. There's no CEO women. There's no women working in the music industry. Let's not do that. What I think the brother was saying was this: we could all say that prostitution and sex work is bad. Yes, right? Let's say prostitution and the music and all of that is governed by predominantly men. What he's saying is that even if women could still go and protest it, the same way women protest against against the pro-life people, a group of women could walk and be like, yo, let's end stripping, let's end this, even though it's dominated by men. So people are just saying, oh, yes, the men are culpable.
Thank you very much.
And the whole thing. What the brother is saying is this. Yes, I get that. But where's the Million Women March against sex work? That's what he's saying. And second, what I want to say is that some people keep saying it's about classes. No, they got a bunch of PhD women, also like PhD men, who are involved in degradation of the society. So what I'm saying is, yes, Bakari, there's room for Bakari's way of thinking, and there's also room for the brother that's just speak and that lady. At the end of the day, we're just trying to get the neighborhood better. So, yes, to me, yeah, go talk to Bakari. He'll give you that love. But if you're not listening to the Bakari, I'm coming and telling you ain't shit. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Again, I'm gonna piggyback on what Black Steel said when Black Bakari. If you have such this disdain for Black women and your critique is very one-sided, you just pretty much showing that something's wrong with your mother, your grandmother, and then the women in your family.
Black women alone? I just said black men, black women.
I didn't cut you off. I'm just saying in general, for people who have that type of energy, it's very clear in my view, and it's very uneven.
It's an ad hominem, but go ahead.
They just drag Black women through the mud and say, hey, but Black men too, after dragging Black women through the mud, and you're saying that's an equal critique. That is not an equal critique. She's just now, if this woman would have like said, well, there are some and there are segments of Black women, then I'm like, all right, okay. But she is generalizing. That's the part that gets me. She's making generalizations. She also said, I don't think anyone mentioned yet that Black women are the most also unintelligent in society, the most intelligent women in society. That's a fucking Charlie Kirk shit. So if anyone wants to agree with that and say that your mother and your grandmother is a bunch of stupid ass women, go ahead. It's America. You're free to. I know my mother ain't stupid. I know my grandmother and women in my black women in my family ain't stupid. But if you feel free that it's constructive criticism for her to call black women, your mother, your grandmother, stupid, feel free. And I end it right
And
there.
stay away from me too while you're doing it. Stay
Exactly.
over there.
Yes, if my mother's acting stupid, my sister's acting stupid, my niece is acting stupid.
There's a difference between acting stupid and being stupid.
Call them stupid. What are you talking
The
about?
difference between acting stupid and being so we all act stupid from time to time. But if she's giving this quote unquote constructive criticism and she's making generalizations, this fits in easily into the white narrative of black people being inherently stupid, backwards, and dysfunctional. And she's not giving a caveat.
Let me say something real quick.
Go ahead.
Let me say something real quick. So women slut shame other women more than men slut shame women. And there's a good reason for this. It's not because women hate themselves or because of, I don't know, whatever you guys were saying. It's because the biggest threat to a woman's relation. I'm hearing a feedback. Can somebody mute up? All right. So women slut. Hang on. Am I having feedback? Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yeah. I can hear you, but someone.
I can hear you, but I can hear the feedback. I don't know if somebody's mic is open or not.
Okay, so I'll be fast. So the women slut shame each other because the biggest threat to a woman's relationship with their husband or boyfriend is a promiscuous woman. So this is one of the reasons why women slut shame each other, and I think that we have to keep that in mind. And the older women in society have an interest in regulating the sexual competition from younger women. So it makes sense to me if you're a woman who's in a relationship, you are going to want to say derogatory things to the promiscuous women you see around you because you don't want them in your area. And it's dangerous. I think there is wisdom in that. You don't want this prevailing norms of this society where sexual promiscuity is there is no shame. Women can be sex workers and do all this, OnlyFans, and it's being normalized. And I think it's having a deleterious effect on the Black family and on the stability of Black culture and Black society. So I do lean conservative in that I believe in the sanctity of marriage. And I think that anything that detracts from that is not only just going to damage marriage, but it's going to damage Black society, Black communities together. So we have to have some standards in order to maintain a cohesive family and society. And I'll land the plane there.
Let me ask one question before I get off here. It's gonna be two. I put it in the chat. I got two.
I got
First, I asked.
Just make it.
I was just gonna ask: has anybody ever hung out with a prostitute or a stripper and seen them as a person, not a prostitute or a stripper? And the reason I asked that,
not yet.
And the reason I asked that question, because if you ever did, you would be surprised at how intelligent a lot of these people. They do what they do because they know they can make money from me. And I was telling this one buddy I was with, he did investment.
Yo, Bakari's at the strip club right now. That's why he's defending them.
I don't do strip clubs, but I know strippers. And I used to hang, and I had a couple of prostitutes I used to chill with, and people thought I was messing with them, but we were just cool. But and I didn't never judge them for being a prostitute.
Stop strip club shaming. Don't strip club shame. But
when he was showing, and when he showed them women who was making his cash, and he had about 10 of them, and how they was taking that cash and investing and flipping their cash, but they say they know they can make that money because men gonna come up in there and spend the money. So it's working hand in hand. So then they got to a point where they ain't had to strip no more because they were making money off their investment, just like those couple prostitutes. And people laugh, this you strange if you hang, but I didn't care about them being prostitutes. They were Black women. I saw them out we were chilling, and then we became cool. But the same thing. But they do this stuff because if you're gonna shame the women, you got to shame the men. Because
The pimps.
if men were not purchasing it, the women would not be doing it. It's
Supply
just
and
that
demand.
simple. Just like with men didn't want to see a woman with blonde hair in their head, not saying us, that black woman. You wouldn't find black women with blonde wigs in their head. They do the things they do because there's men that like it.
Yo, you
Just that
always,
simple.
yo, Bakari, you just blame
Bakari,
men.
I gotta push back on that. I gotta push
Can
back
we?
on
Can
that.
we?
I see, this is the issue. Hold on a second. I gotta push back on that because someone needs to mute.
Kwaku,
Someone needs to mute them.
you sound mad for. You sound mad for though.
You know what? Urzuli, go ahead.
No, you back now. You sound like you was a distance away.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead, Kwaku. You were sounding mad for. That's what.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know. I can't tell this computer. I have to push back a little bit. You know, and this is a conversation for a whole other time, to be honest. But the reason why prostitution occurs, for example, is because some women or some people, because men are prostitutes too, some people recognize that there's a gap. And a lot of times the gap is really because your spouses aren't doing the things that they're willing to do. And they know this, so they fill that gap. I don't like the idea of that women don't have agency, that women can't say to the men, even if it's true that men are the ones who want blonde wigs and weaves, which I don't know how true that is. But even if that was the case, women have the agency to say, hold up, I'm rooted in my blackness, I'm rooted in my Africanness, I'm not wearing no blonde weave. You see what I'm saying? Because, you know, some people say it as a joke, but black men don't walk around wearing white men's hair. Last I checked, at least not on no big scale. So what I will say is that, and this is my advice to all of us, we should be able to have fair and honest conversations about black men and black women. And someone open the mic again. I don't know why you're doing that, but I think we got to have fair conversations at times. Now, I don't think we got to get into the individualism because that's no good for the black community. But we should be able to have fair conversation on both sides. So I'll let Uzuli speak, and then by 10 o'clock, I'm gonna end this conversation and move on to Shoot the Breeze topic number 2 tonight. All right? Uzuli, go ahead.
When am I gonna address the crowd?
Hold up, just real quick, bro. You could go right after me. Bakari, what we saying is, of course, they got cool strippers.
You have to be brief too.
Yeah, I'm gonna be brief. Of course, there are cool prostitutes, cool strippers, cool sex workers, but in general, sex work is not good for a community. I'm not just blaming the women. Yeah, they got men who are very lewd, very sexually thirsty with no dick discipline. No, the men got to do better. But what the brother was saying is this, whatever you slice it, whichever you look at it, sex work is not good for any community, especially when it becomes so prominent in the music and the books and the movies. No, even the prostitutes. You want me to tell me if I got asked one of those girls, do you still want to be a stripper? You think that is very demeaning to the. So based on what I'm saying, we're not saying there's not cool people. What we're saying is that all this sex work shit that's in the black community, or not even just the black community, and in our society nowadays, it's too much. That's it.
Before you go, I want to say one thing, 10 seconds. Look how many people are on the chat right now. We never had this many people when we're talking about, Pan-Africanism and stuff like that. But look how many people joined the panel to talk
No,
shit.
no. It's because of me. It's because of me. But hold on. Let me just say this. Man. Um, we need our black women. We need them. We need them. But we need them functional. We are not going nowhere with our black woman in dysfunction. Every time we take 10 steps for 1 step forward, we take 10 steps backward. That's because our black women are lagging behind. You feel me? This is what I have to say about our people.
Can I
The
ask you
black
guys a question
woman.
real quick?
Hold on. Wait. Yeah. In a minute. Hold on. The reason why. Uh, put off your mic. Put off your mic. The reason why black women are. All right. I can't talk about the other races. I actually don't care. Okay. The reason why black women are strippers and prostitutes is because they they are not withholding themselves and then get married by the time they 18. The black woman should do that. That way she don't be a town runner, a road runner. You feel me? When the black woman comes out of school, when a woman comes out of school, a woman should get married immediately. I'm telling you, because her sensualities is going to weaken her at a particular time. So she need to get married. And that's why you have hoes and prostitutes. It's because they are not willing to maintain a organized society in terms of um promoting nuclear families. You feel me? Something is doing it. So that's why there are so much abortions, because the black woman is not promoted to be married. So even if she get pregnant underage, well, they should be married. You feel me? So that's what these are the things that is needed to promote in the society, to not have these woman that's un unmarriable or unrelationshipable, these type of thing. It's because she on the road running, and the only thing can stop that is we as a population need to make sure the black, and this will stop even rape, because what happened now is she can't get married to everyone like how she give it to everyone or a lot of people. So that will hold. Look, 70%, and we need to stop divorces, because 70% of our neighborhood, the black woman's marriage is orchestrated by her. So the dysfunction is even going off into marriage life. So these are the things that we have to try to do to undo some of the things that's going on, and even correct a lot of our women's, and you can't trust a woman with wigs. You can't. It's like, don't do it. Go ahead.
All right.
Can I ask a real quick question? It's going to be extremely quick. I went out to the store today and I walked around the streets, and everything that I encountered, including the cars that were made, the paint on the streets, my windows, the food, and everything that I've seen so far is made by non-black men. Okay, everything in society, the police, the airplanes, and everything. Do you guys think? And real quick question: if we were to take control of our lives, down to the water we get, which doesn't, we're not in control of it, to the security we get, whether it's police or to the transportation, to the gas stations. If we developed our own refineries, if we developed even our own so-called internet, so we're not on YouTube and having to deal with somebody else's satellites and our own phones, so we could actually, do you think that if we took control of our lives as black males, okay, black men, and we were to do what men do, because clearly other men had provided us the things that we're now having a conversation on. Do you think that if we took control of our destiny and the things that we should, do you think that Black women would be the same as what we're describing them, or some folks are describing them right now? Or do you think that they would stay the same and we would still have this conversation, even if we took control of our lives?
That wasn't a quick question at all, MG2.
I could answer that real quick for you. Look, the Black woman is very powerful. She has us in control since we was birthed as men. I'm not talking about the girls. I'm talking about men. She has control over us even till 10 years old. She have physical control over us and a lot of mental control over us if the father is not injecting himself. So what I'm trying to say is a lot of Black women are miseducating the youths, and they paying less attention on boys. So what I'm trying to say is, if the Black woman want to defeat us, she can. And that's what's going on, because the white man is using her to do it, and she don't know. She been captured from slavery. She been given freedom from slavery, freedom from us, but not freedom from the white man. You feel me? So she don't know. She don't know. So what she's doing is she's raising people she like, but she not raising people for another woman to like. She's just raising people for she to like. So what happened is, we as men are practically on the back foot when we grow up as men.
Real quick though.
In general, not all of us. Hold on, not me personally, but all of us. We are on the back foot because we are. She avoids Pan-Africanists. She avoids Marcus Garvey. You can't tell me she don't hear about these people. She avoid these people and avoid the teachings. She avoid things that would make us a real, genuine, upstanding man. She tried to make us eat out of the white man hand like a donkey. Like a donkey. That's how you tame horses and do. You feel me? So you have to understand these dynamics in the Black world, especially us as POWs. Go ahead.
All right, Ike. Let me just say this quickly. Please, no one come and ask the panel another question. Make a quick statement if you have to, but I want to move on to the next topic tonight, all right? So I know Chuck who asked to say something. Just make a statement or whatever so that we can move on, all right?
Right. Just real quick, what the brother was describing of taking control of our own lives and destiny and the infrastructure can only happen in the context of Black nationalism. That can only happen if we control our own nation state and we create the norms of society. Living as a minority group, 14% in somebody else's society, that is not an option that's available to us. And I'll land the plane there.
I appreciate your brevity there. All right, man. That was a lengthy conversation. Some of y'all remain quiet because you didn't want to get into the fray. I get it. Hopefully you guys will speak up in this next topic.